Hi, I'm so glad that you're here. I want to be talking about stylization of photos in Premiere Pro so that you're not just putting JPEGs into your timeline. You know, this is going to be totally subjective. It's just an artistic choice. You're going to have to figure out what you like, but this is what I like and maybe just some options for you to try out as you evolve your style. So I just have a timeline here that I prepared. These are some old photographs of mine and then some video footage because you can apply this to both. Let's talk about different options that you can do. Something that I have enjoyed doing recently is actually scaling down images to be inside the frame of your video, and just so you can see some border. With that, I don't like to keep a plain black background. I have this bin here with some pre-made mattes. I like to do like a gray, just slightly off black. Just it adds a little bit extra. I don't know, I like it. You could also do white. White's nice. I think that this one's pure white. It's nice to do slightly off white, or you could do like a slightly like warm white. That's nice too. Kind of adds a little bit of something. Maybe that's a little bit too much. Just kind of like some creamy paper, you know? We'll have both of these here just so that we can kind of play around with it. One of the other things that I like to do is I have this texture grain here, and I went to, where did I go? I think I went to Pexels. I think I looked for grain. That's not the kind of grain I want. That would be a great overlay for your video. Let's do film grain. Dust. What did I use? I might have done like a papers texture with like a really extreme curve. Anyway, so you go and find some textures like that. I can put some links down below. I'll find some more. You make a sequence, you stack the videos, and you make a looping texture. Super easy to do. For this one, I'm gonna change the blending mode to screen. I'm gonna drop the opacity a little bit. Let's do 20%. So that just adds a little bit of extra oomph there to it. And I don't think this is probably the best texture loop for this kind of thing, but it works for this example. I think I have another one, but I'm not sure where it is, which organize your files. The other one that I really like, so this is like this, I don't know what you call it, but it's this like digitally kind of texture thing. And so this is actually an app. If you go to, oh, is it not available anywhere? It should be. Anyway, I can have some of these textures available as well. It's this app that randomly generates these digital dot patterns. And so I made 8 different images and I sequenced them out and made this looping texture. I could add like a gradient to it. Let's just do a 4-color gradient. And that changes the color. So, I mean, you could have whatever, like that. And so you can have that nice like pattern here. And then, you know, you can do something like lower the opacity, or you could do like a color dodge, which I like to do. Now, I have this too fast, but just because it's images and stuff, I can slow it down to like 50%. Oh, that was my cat. That scared me. Oh my goodness. Premiere died. We'd like to welcome you to this unexpected intermission where Premiere has crashed yet again. Okay, we are more or less back right where we started. On this, I'm going to turn off my 4-color gradient for that. I just want to leave it like this. And we also changed the speed, I believe. And we can do that on the texture as well, or the grain texture. And that'll just make it a little less frenetic. Another thing that we can do is I want the grain to go on the back instead of on the picture itself, just because I would prefer that. And let me scale these other ones down as well. I think the other one was 24%. So we're off to a good start here. Another thing that I would like to do is add an adjustment layer onto here. And there's a lens distortion effect that I'm going to apply here. I just like a little bit of that going on. And you could animate this too, like a super slow animation to go from the beginning to the end, just to have some motion in there. We can add a little bit of chromatic aberration to this as well. This is way too much. We want like -2. So then we're left with something that kind of looks like that, which is just really nice. And maybe we don't need the lens distortion animation for this. Maybe we'll just keep it super subtle and have it as just a little bit of slight distortion. Something else that you could do if you wanted a little bit of a transition between images, and this is totally up to you. I'm going to bring in another adjustment layer here, and I'm just going to have it cover one frame on either end of this picture. And I'm going to bring up the invert effect. So when it transitions, it does a little bit of that. Maybe we can stretch that out a little bit. And for something like this, it'd be most effective if you had a sound effect to go with it. Otherwise, I don't think it's going to sell as good. Like a camera shutter click would be really nice. You could also do a black and white effect, I think. It's just a little way to transition your footage a little bit. I'm getting competing stuff with that grain. I really like the JS placement background, so I'm just going to keep that. Something else that you can do is you can do a new layer, create a rectangle here. Okay, it's editor Ben here, popping in for a quick second. I went into explaining track mats and how you could use that as a technique in this, and I did a really poor job. So I'm going to take over for a second and try and do this a little bit better. Okay, so over here in our timeline, I have our images set up, and each one of these has a track mat that is looking at video layer 8. So if we put an item onto track 8, it's going to use that as a track mat. What I was trying to explain before is the way that Premiere uses track mats is weird to me. It's not how it works in After Effects. When I go ahead and add a rectangle, you can see that the bounding boxes of the rectangle isn't lining up with where the track mat is applying. And then what I would expect to happen in After Effects, you have the track mat locked in place, and you can move the layer underneath it anywhere you want, and independently of the track mat. But when I go and select the image, the track mat moves with it. The lesson here, there's weird stuff with Premiere, and you have to learn to adapt and kind of figure some stuff out. Use the forums, look there, see if anybody has any solutions, Google any problems and issues that you have, see if somebody has a solution for it. But also, I've been editing for over 10 years, and much of that has been professionally for, video productions with corporate clients and things like that. And there are still things that I'm learning all the time, and finding out that, hey, I don't know. So if there's things that you don't know, and there's things that you have issues with, it's okay, because that happens to, that happens even as you go along in your career. So don't let that discourage you, and it'll be okay. And just try to keep learning and be open to learning new things, but also don't take that away and be like, oh, well, it doesn't matter if I don't know things. Try to learn, try to grow, and have that mindset. I'm just trying to help. So back to younger me. Photo layer back on, but it goes up there. Maybe I need to cut this and then bring it down, but then it doesn't go off screen. Oh, that's it. Okay, so you have to, instead of moving the vector, you have to move the instead of the graphics, you have to move the video layer, so it moves up and down. So that's some stylizations in Premiere. It's just a few, but it's a thing to get started. Some of these assets I'll make available in the description. They'll be on my website as things that you can download. It's all going to be free. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you found something useful in this, and you will see me in my next video. Take care. Bye.